It's late as all get out, which means it's officially after midnight, which means it is officially Tuesday, and we're going to talk a little Raw. And normally I would do a little housekeeping, but you know what? I got to work tomorrow, so I want to get into this as quick as I can. I just finished watching a fan shot video of what happened after the camera stopped rolling, involving Wade Barrett and Adam Rose, as well as Triple H and Stephanie. And to a lesser extent, the Shield against the Wyatt family, leading to John Cena putting his stamp of approval on Wade Barrett, like he did with Cesaro about a year ago. So I thought it was really awesome, and I'll talk about that as we get to the end of the actual broadcast and I actually talk about what happened afterwards. But let's start off the show with something rather interesting. It wasn't the then, now, forever. No, it was actually the Wyatt interruption, which starts the show. We're in London at the O2 Arena, and sure enough, the entire crowd is on Bray Wyatt's side. And obviously I have a beverage here because we're going to be here for a bit. So Bray gets on the mic and says, "Every night we lay our heads down to dream." And that's when our minds really start to tick. We start remembering all these horrible things, all these travesties that have happened to us. But in our dreams, we are superheroes. We dream of revenge. We dream of payback. Just like that, man, we wake up. And that's when reality starts to set in. We go to the mirror and we remember that we are not superheroes. We cannot fix everything. And so we carry this rage. We go out and pretend that nothing is wrong, but everything is wrong. And I plan on fixing that. See, I used to have this mean old teacher, and this teacher looked down upon me and went to great measures to remind me that I was a piece of trash and would never amount to anything in my life. She believed that everything she read in a book was true and that everything that I believed in was a lie. So I went up to her and I asked her, "Miss Teacher Lady, what makes you think that you are so much better than me? Is it because you think you're smarter than me? Is it because your mommy and daddy paid for you to go to some fancy school so you could wave that diploma in front of all of us, look down upon the children, and feed them propaganda?" She looked at me and she said, "Bray Wyatt, you are rotten. You stand for nothing. The first time I looked inside of your eyes, I knew there was something inside you. And I knew that you were evil." But I'm proud to say that somewhere right now, that teacher lady is rotting in some retirement home, rotting away in her regrets, while I stand before you as a revolutionary. So I say to you, Miss Teacher Lady, look at me now. I got the whole damn world in my hands. That is my payback. My ends justify my means. But Miss Teacher Lady was right about one thing. I am evil. I am the necessary evil that must exist in this world to balance everything out. But I am evil. My tongue is the scorpion's tail, and when it starts to strike, people start to listen. I offer hope for men like John Cena who want to see everything die. John Cena, he hides behind that plastic smile. He plays the role of the hero while everything around him burns. But I promise you, all my people, I promise you, at Payback, I will be the last man standing, where no one will ever stand again. But tonight, Luke Harper is going to put John Cena down. And he's about ready to speak yet again, and sure enough, John Cena's music hits. So Bray sicks Rowan and Harper on the entranceway to grab Cena before he can do anything. And sure enough, when Bray turns around, Cena's in the ring, hits the AA, and he powders before Rowan and Harper can do anything about it. So Cena gets the upper hand. And that's how we start off the show. Interesting. Never really had something or someone disrupt the WWE Raw intro before, and the Wyatt family have. So they're setting a lot of precedents in 2014. So I like this. I like this a lot. It's building more towards the last man standing. And as we progress in the show, it builds to a crescendo that is pretty awesome that actually ends the show. But we'll talk about that as we progress. Paul Heyman comes out with Cesaro and he says, "We are the stars, you are the wannabes." Basically, the crowd is chanting, and it's funny when he made his normal line is, "My client Brock Lesnar, yada yada yada." The crowd was singing along with him. So Heyman lays down on his back after he says, "Worship my client and the mic that I have." He lays on the mat and he says, you know what, I'm not a queen, dying and making Charles your queen. I am The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and of course the crowd sing along with that. And here comes your first match of the evening. A really awesome, hard-hitting matchup between Cesaro and the United States Champion Sheamus. This is built on a match that I did not get to talk about that was on Main Event over the weekend, and they battled to a double countout. So this is the match that follows that. I really want to see much more of Sheamus and Cesaro. As a matter of fact, if you remember back to when he was Antonio Cesaro, something happened in a match with Sheamus on Raw a long time ago, and that was the first time that the WWE Universe ever saw the Alpamare water slide, which Sheamus actually took in a match. Didn't take the UFO, but he took the Alpamare water slide, so that was pretty cool, because we haven't seen it before, we haven't seen it since in WWE, so kudos to Sheamus for taking it. Pretty awesome maneuver, if I do say so myself. So we go midway through this match, and Cesaro with a knee lift, 2 Swiss uppercuts, and he whips him into a sleeper hold applied on Sheamus. Sheamus punches his way out, and whip in reverse, and of course, axe handle. He goes for the charging shoulder. Cesaro out of the way. He goes shoulder first into the ring post, and basically knocks him to the apron, and Cesaro steps up on the middle turnbuckle and does the outside-in superplex, gets a 2 off of that, makes a cover, hooks the leg, only gets a 1 count off that. He charges in for the Swiss uppercut in the corner, but he eats the Irish Curse backbreaker. Sheamus still only gets a 2 out of that. He goes for the double leg into the turnbuckle, into the shoulder, and of course when he bounds off, he gets nailed with a high knee. The Finley roll connects, gets a 2 off of that. Goes for the over-the-shoulder power slam. Cesaro lands on his feet behind. Swiss uppercut to the back of the head. And he charges in. It catches Sheamus' back elbow. And Cesaro with the high-velocity whip on the United States champion. But this time, he takes it Bret Hart style. And by Bret Hart style, I mean he didn't take the back, he took the chest. So, high-velocity whip, chest first into the buckle. A boot to the knee by Sheamus. And then a kick straight to the face. He flips up on the top rope, and he hits the battering ram. At least that's what he was going for, but he gets caught with a Swiss uppercut, 1-2, and Sheamus barely kicks out. So Sheamus catches Cesaro with a short arm clothesline, and Cesaro picks him up to try to take advantage, and they trade forearms on their knees, and they get up on their feet, and they trade forearms, the regular forearm from Sheamus, and a Swiss uppercut, and forearm, Swiss uppercut, duck, and ducks the clothesline and catches him off the ropes with the over-the-shoulder power slam, 1-2, and Cesaro kicks out. Heyman jumps up on the ring apron, takes his jacket off, throws it down, and this allows for a distraction. When the jacket is tossed in, a German suplex is applied from behind, 1-2-3, and Cesaro wins. So yes, in essence, our Irish United States champion lost to someone from Switzerland with a German suplex. So many things wrong with that sentence, but it works so well. And Cesaro using the German now every once in a while to get those wins. So I have no issues with this. If it builds to a matchup between the two, I'm a happy guy, because anytime these two go at it, it's a glorious day. Basically because Sheamus is very snug, and so is Cesaro. There's a difference between stiff and being snug. They're both very snug. And the thing about it is if you don't know what I'm referring to, basically I'm just going to put it on the fact that they both like to hit hard in very safe places. We'll just go with that. And when it comes down to it, they both do it so well, along with Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett's another person that is very snug in the ring. So I will say that I have no issues with this feud continuing. And Sheamus offers his hand, and Cesaro pulls the Ric Flair, and he sidesteps it, and he bombs out, shakes the hand of Paul Heyman, and leaves. Well, the funny thing is I decided what this song reminds me of. Okay. Now, I love Cesaro's old theme. I really do. I love his old theme. And I was never a big fan of the We the People theme, but it kind of grew on me. And now it's with Jack Swagger. Obviously, it has to fit with the We the People gimmick, which is still with Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter. But the air raid siren's fine, and it goes into generic rock music. Okay, for those of you out there that are Disney fans, or not, I'm going to give you a little crash course real quick. There is a show at Hollywood Studios called Lights, Motors, Action. And before the show starts, there is trivia questions that are on the big screen that basically, like, pacifies everyone while the stunts get set up and the show starts. And sometimes if there's issues with the show starting because of weather and stuff like that, then obviously they throw out more trivia. That's what this reminds me of. So if you're a wrestling fan watching this video, obviously you are, and you're a Disney fan as well, or know anything about Disney, or ever been to Lights, Motors, Action, you would know that what I'm talking about is true. Cesaro's theme is the air raid siren into the music from the Lights, Motors, Action trivia before the show starts. Yes, it took me a minute to realize that, but it's very true. Now, apparently, on the pre-show, there was an official announcement that obviously we're not getting Daniel Bryan defending the WWE Championship against Kane. There will not be a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at Payback. Obviously, Bryan is out, and I'll talk about that in a bit. He will return to action in a couple of months, actually, is what it looks like. So they needed a strong main event, and it looks like they've got a double one. Obviously, you've got John Cena and Bray Wyatt, last man standing. The second part of that double main event is going to be a no-holds-barred elimination match between The Shield and Evolution. And obviously, Batista will probably get written off after this match so he can go off and be Drax the Destroyer in promoting Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's going to happen, and that's going to be awesome because Shield and Evolution really tore down the house the last time they squared off, and I would like to see this match again. Extreme Rules was a really good match, and I really wanted to see this be a War Games match, but we still have time, obviously. I mean, we still have Money in the Bank, we still have Battleground before we even get to SummerSlam, so who knows what we're going to do with that. We get our next match. It is our first in 3 Beat the Clock Challenge matches to determine who will face off against Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship at Payback. This first match involves Big E taking on Ryback. And we go joining this match in the middle, of course. Big E gets caught with a snap suplex, gets a 1 count off of it, does Ryback. 4 clubs to the chest, makes a cover 1 count only. Headbutt and the Kevin Nash style elbows in the corner. You know, the picture frame elbows he likes to do. He didn't frame it up, but he did hit the Nash style elbows. And 2 big chops from the big guy and a snapmare into a back mule kick. Gets a 2 off of that. Knee in and a short arm shoulder block to Big E. Sends him down twice, and third time is not a charm because he gets caught with the belly-to-belly suplex by Big E. He goes for the setup for the big splash, runs off the ropes, and gets stopped. Huge spine buster from Ryback, gets a 2 off of that. Charges in with the meat hook clothesline, only gets a 2 off of that. Remember, that used to be a finish, folks. Makes a cover yet again, trying to steal the win. Only gets a 2 off of that. Covers 1 more time, getting frustrated. Goes for a powerbomb, and he ends up, Big E trying to reverse it. And instead of landing on his feet, he kind of slipped and he landed on his chest, actually. He basically just landed on the, took like a front bump, basically. He bounds off the ropes, nails the Vader attack, and Curtis Axel gets up on the ring apron with his awesome beanie. And, of course, he gets dropped off courtesy of Big E. Big E, in turn, drops the straps, hits the big ending on the big guy, and gets the 3 off of that. So Big E sets the tone with 5 minutes and 2 seconds to kick off the Beat the Clock Challenge. Obviously, you knew right there he wasn't winning. So we get our next match. Interesting match. R-Truth comes out doing the What's Up with the Funkadactyls, and it's announced there was going to be a match. We don't know exactly what it is. And Fandango comes out, pops the whole crowd. Obviously, this is where the Fandango phenomenon started, so obviously he was going to get over with the crowd, and he did, coming out with Layla, and of course making out with Layla before the match started, and it looks like we're going to get a mixed tag. Presumably, it would have been, and I'm saying this in the past tense for good reason, R-Truth and Naomi against Layla and Fandango, but new music hits, and here comes Summer Rae. Summer Rae walks out, and what does she do? She looks at Layla, and she kisses Fandango, and takes Layla down. We got a Joey Styles style cat fight, of course. Fandango pulls Layla out of the ring, and Summer Rae looks like, you want some of this? And we get that continuation. So, Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned for Fandango. So, yes, that was a interesting segment, very short segment, and we're building towards Fandango ends up fighting over Layla and Summer Rae. You obviously could go back to the old Tommy Dreamer adage with Beulah and Kimono Walea, and we do the gimmick where, hey, I'm hardcore, I'll take them both, so he has both Layla and Summer Rae. But in WWE, especially during the PG era that we're in right now, yeah, that's not going to happen. But it's an interesting thought, especially if you're a longtime fan, and you can watch that ECW action on the WWE Network. That's my Mick Foley plug for the night. So yeah, we get our next segment of the evening, and it's Daniel Bryan's music hits, which is interesting because everyone knows that Daniel Bryan is in Aberdeen, Washington right now, convalescing and recovering from his neck surgery on Thursday. So you have to expect something's up. And sure enough it is, because here comes Stephanie McMahon coming down to the ring. She's mocking Bryan, she's chanting yes, and the fans see this and they start chanting no. Stephanie gets on the mic and tells everyone what we already know. Bryan underwent very successful surgery last Thursday, and Daniel Bryan is your champion. He knows you need an active champion. So she goes, you know what, I'm afraid I've got some. And then, of course, the fans we're in England, obviously, so Wade Barrett's going to get over. And we see, well, you know, someone else can say this better. And we see a nice little video package of Wade Barrett saying his normal catchphrase. And then when we come back, Stephanie does a really horrible Cockney accent and says, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. And the response is, of course, not very favorable given the fact that we're in the UK. So she furthermore goes on and says, I'm contemplating stripping Daniel Bryan of the WWE Championship and awarding it to the Demon Kane. Nope, don't like that. How about I give it to Bad News Barrett? Fans like, yeah, Barrett's awesome. And he is. How about I give it to Batista? And he's like, boo, like, you guys are so predictable. You know what, if anybody deserves it, it's Triple H. And everybody's like, no! And Justin Zabar like, yay! So yeah, so there's always that. I have no problem that Triple H would take the championship in this and give more fuel to the fire of the Bryan Triple H feud. But then again, you've got Triple H is embroiled in the feud with Evolution versus The Shield, so I wouldn't necessarily take him out of that right now, unless you want to introduce Sheamus into Evolution sooner rather than later. So we're not really there yet. We're getting there, but we're not quite there yet. So she's like, you know what? It's fine. I'm not going to strip him. But I do want to demand that Daniel Bryan shows up next week on Raw and does the right thing, and that is relinquish the championship, personally, to me. Because, yes, I hate saying this, but it's true. It's what's best for business. God, I hate that line so much. God, RC10 is awesome. So, yeah. So you got the fans to chant for Bryan, and you pulled the old switcheroo, and when they were like chanting, yes, yes, to see Stephanie, and they're like, no, no, they're sheep, all of them are. But that's okay, that's how it works. So yeah, that was the segment there, and obviously we're building towards Bryan's eventual return to the company, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, 4 months down the road. If he comes back by SummerSlam, if he comes back before SummerSlam, I'll actually be somewhat surprised. Unless he uses John Cena's doctor to hook it up like John Cena does so well. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but yeah, we wish Bryan a speedy recovery here on Pop. So yeah, there's always that. He'll be back with a vengeance, and I still think there's some like legs on the fact that they do the whole Brie has to defend the championship in Divas matches, but it doesn't look like they're going that direction, at least not now. So we get our next segment of the evening, and it is the return of the Union Jacks. Yes, it is Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, and Drew McIntyre dressed up as their Union Jacks gimmick, wearing all British flag from head to toe. No Hornswoggle here, so interesting. I wonder if they'll do anything on SmackDown with that feud that never ends between Los Matadores and three-man band. So Heath Slater is out, and he gets on the mic, he's like, London, the Union Jacks are home. And we get some very familiar music, and here comes the absolutely gorgeous Lana comes out. She bashes the U.S. and the United Kingdom, obviously, puts over Putin as always, and here comes Rusev. Rusev comes to the ring. Heath Slater's seen this match before, and obviously he tries to go for a pescado. He gets caught, rammed hard into the ring apron, and then slammed on the floor for his good measure. Jinder tries to interfere. He eats a super kick, and Drew McIntyre ends up getting tossed into the ring steps. So basically, Rusev just lays waste to three-man band right off the top. Tosses Heath in, charges in, and Slater gets the boot up. And he gets caught with the swinging side slam and steps on the spine, accolade, dunzo. So yeah, Rusev squashed people. And for those of you that are conspiracy theorists, I think that Rusev only goes after minorities. Wow, he kind of did. Jinder Mahal. I mean, technically Jinder Mahal's Canadian, so I mean, it's okay. I don't count that. I don't think that's a minority. I have a lot of friends from Canada. They're all awesome, too. But then you got Drew McIntyre. Kinda, yeah, I can see that. He's Scottish. And then you've got Heath Slater. He's from West Virginia. He's a redneck. I think that's a minority. So maybe you have finally been silenced, Internet, with thinking that Rusev liked to squash minorities, and that's it. I know you have a reason to believe with Sin Cara and Truth and Xavier Woods and soon-to-be Big E. I get that. But, yes, three-man band getting attacked. That completely blows everything for you. So, Internet, no soup for you. So, I just called out the whole IWC. So, we get the Shield in the back. And Shield basically say that Evolution's afraid. This is Ambrose talking. He's like, we want to fight. And Roman Reigns says, 9 stitches. Is that all you got? If that's your best shot, then you've got so many problems. We'll never stop gunning for you. Rollins says, I made a mistake, and Batista took advantage. He tried to take me out, but he couldn't get the job done. Tonight, Big Dave, I will not make any more mistakes. Believe that. Believe in the Shield. Obviously, the Shield is still on the collision course with Evolution, and the match that I enjoyed on SmackDown is actually going to get a reprise on the show, and I actually can say right now, without any question, that I like the match that I'm about to talk about in a couple segments a whole lot more than I like the match on SmackDown. I like the match on SmackDown, as you guys know if you saw the recap yesterday, but I will say that I like this match a whole lot more, because there was a whole lot more involved with this match. So we get our next Beat the Clock Challenge match. It is Alberto Del Rio, sporting the gear he wore back when he was talking about his destiny. He actually was getting pushed. Taking on Rob Van Dam. My God, this match was bad. I feel horrible about saying that, but this match was just no chemistry between these two at all. No chemistry. Because Van Dam hits a clothesline and another clothesline, and usually he sets up for Rolling Thunder. He goes off the ropes, and he realizes he's too close, so he runs off the ropes again, and Del Rio's looking at him like, what are you doing? And then, of course, he runs off, and he does, like, I would say it's like a leaping double leg drop, but basically he just kind of landed on him, and he gets a 2 off of that? Sure. Van Dam gets caught with a backstabber. It actually looked good. Got a 2 off of that. Goes for the cross arm breaker, gets stopped with a high kick, and he goes for Rolling Thunder way too close again, so he ends up hitting like a rolling senton, I guess, and goes up top, 5-star frog splash, misses, and a roll up from Del Rio, gets a 2 off of that, goes for the step up enziguri, connects, Van Dam kicks out at 2, and goes for the GSK, duck, and roll up, 1, 2, 3, Rob Van Dam wins, yeah. You missed a golden opportunity. You really did. I know this would have made the internet explode, but Van Dam should have won in 4:20. He really should have. And he won in 4:15, so you were 5 seconds too early. Yes, I was going to say late, but yeah. It's like time and math. They kind of go hand in hand with me. John Cena's in the back talking to Renee Young. Renee asks his game plan for this evening. You know what? If this ain't broke, don't fix it. In fact, I'm going to invite the Usos to keep the odds fair. Obviously, the odds are not in John Cena's favor because everyone is a follower. The followers are a lot more powerful than C-Nation, apparently, at this point. And desperation creates moments of opportunity to succeed or fail. We will seize the opportunity and win. We have the heart of a champion, and then Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, if you remember The Wolf of Wall Street, Matthew McConaughey doing that during the movie, it's actually something that he does legitimately before he does a take, and he does this to warm himself up before he starts his acting performances, and he used it in The Wolf of Wall Street, and he got Leonardo DiCaprio to do it too. So yes, apparently either Jimmy J or John Cena or a group of all three were just sitting back in the locker room before the show started and they were watching The Wolf of Wall Street. I thought this was awesome. I really did. I put on Twitter some sort of a line that basically said that John Cena stealing blatantly from Matthew McConaughey isn't going to get him many fans out of it, but it couldn't hurt. So yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome. And yeah, it was really cool. I didn't hear Cena go, "Oh!" But still, it was there, and it was beautiful. Especially if you knew what was going on. And you could tell there were fans that knew what was going on. And you could tell that there were fans that were like, what are they doing? This is kind of stupid. No, this was awesome. Because this was McConaughey style. And that is amazing in its own right. So, we get basically an announcement that the Shield and Evolution are barred from ringside unless they're personnel. And only ringside personnel is allowed to be at ringside for the match, okay? So obviously you knew right then and there that something was going to happen. And sure enough, once Seth Rollins comes out, we get the announcement of Triple H as the official ring announcer. And here comes your timekeeper, Randy Orton. Here comes Batista to the ring. So, of course, in addition to this, Rollins gets on the mic, sitting on the ring steps, looking at his opponents, and basically says, you know, how about we bring out our special guest commentators, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Apparently, Brad Maddox is in the training room right now, courtesy of a beating from Roman Reigns. But that's purely speculation, based upon total facts. That's the reason why that the Shield are allowed to be at ringside, along with Evolution. So we get this match, which, like I said, a lot longer and a lot more involved than the match on SmackDown I talked about yesterday. So Batista sends Seth over the top rope and sends him hard into the ring steps and slams him face first to the steps. Batista tosses him in, and neck snap on Rollins on the ring apron, comes off the ropes, and Batista with a sliding drop kick sends Rollins to the floor. Tosses him back in, locks in the chin lock and the body scissors, and turns it into like a reverse mount with pounding on the back of the neck. Rolls it back into the chin lock with the body scissors, trying to choke him out, basically. Kind of like a rear naked choke, basically what it was in all essence. Rollins breaks it with a jawbreaker, and two big chops, whip in reverse, and an elbow, which spins Rollins like a top, gets a 2 off of that, does Batista. High velocity whip into the corner. Triple H jumps up in Seth Rollins' face on the outside, and this allows for a choke on the bottom rope. So he puts him on the top turnbuckle, climbs up, going for the superplex. Rollins punches his way out, headbutt twice, which knocks Batista off. He nails the flying guillotine, and when he gets back up, charges in, he gets the boot up, whip in, ducks the head kick to the chest, and he nails the corkscrew neckbreaker off the ropes. Rollins charges in for the forearm in the corner, and he hits it once, and then he hits it again, and gets caught, waistlock, punches himself off, and he floats over, lands on his feet, drop kicks Batista outside of the ring to the floor, and a tope into the barricade, tosses him in, goes up top for the knee strike. Orton with a distraction, and the Shield walk out, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, we're not going to let this happen. So he misses the knee strike, and he gets caught with a huge spine buster from Batista. Charges in, kick to the face, and Rollins nails the springboard knee strike, gets a 2.5 off of it. Goes up top, Triple H knocks Rollins off, and Ambrose and Triple H brawl on the floor. Roman comes into the ring to brawl with Randy Orton on the floor. Orton grabs a steel chair, nails Rollins... God, long day. Roman in the ribs and then in the lower back. And on top of that, we have all sorts of craziness going on, all sorts of chaos. Ambrose dives across both announce tables and nails Randy Orton. Ambrose gets posted by Triple H. Rollins charges in. Triple H nails him because he's going for the tope, of course, yet again, but he got nailed. Batista with a body check, and Triple H going for the pedigree. Ambrose backdrops him out of it, over the table. Roman Reigns spears Batista in the ring, and Ambrose drop kicks Triple H off the ring apron when they're setting up for the Cerberus bomb. This allows Randy Orton to grab Batista and bring him to higher ground so Evolution can fight another day. So that was a really enjoyable match, very enjoyable match. I actually don't mind the chemistry between Seth Rollins and Batista. I think it actually works pretty well. So, our next match is a rematch from last week's Raw. I said that I'm starting to soften on Alicia Fox, and this match actually kind of got me there too. She goes midway through this match, she nails her standing tilt world backbreaker, gets a 2 off of that, whip in, and what does she do? She pushes Paige in the corner, and then she does it again, and she locks in a side headlock, and Paige nails the Paige Turner somewhat. You know, I'll say right now, the Paige Turner she hit on Alicia Fox last week looked awesome. I've seen great Paige Turners on Summer Rae and NXT. I've seen great Paige Turners on Emma and NXT. But, you know, there's not been many WWE Paige Turners that have actually went off very well. I will say that it makes sense to give her the Scorpion Crosslock as a finish because of the utilization of the Paige Turner isn't quite there for some reason. It just doesn't seem like it's a spot that really works all the time. So it's good to give her a secondary finisher to utilize. But it pretty much blew her finish right there because she kicks out at 2. She nails the standing tilt-a-whirl and picks her up, tosses her into the buckle. And what I mean is just the same thing as last week. Picked her up, cradled her, and just threw her into the ring post through the turnbuckles. And straight up kicks Paige right in the face. And that's the end. 1, 2, 3. And Alicia Fox wins a non-title match against the Divas champion. So, instead of throwing a temper tantrum, she throws a party tantrum? A winning tantrum? I don't know if it's a tantrum, but she throws a celebration that basically involves her grabbing the King's crown and parading around with it. So, yeah. I don't know how this is going to work. But it's interesting. So we get our next wide interruption, and it is Luke Harper. And he says, "You're playing a very dangerous game, little mouse. The snake has grown tired of it. Come out, wherever you are." Bray Wyatt says, "The Usos are simply dominoes. One by one, they all fall down. Run." Yes, more awesome Wyatt promos. We get our final of 3 Beat the Clock Challenge matches, and, you know, I don't know what happened in this match. But, yeah, this match, just like the Del Rio Van Dam match, just didn't have it tonight. Just didn't really work out. Which is a shame, because it could have, but it didn't. It is Mark Henry against Dolph Ziggler, so yeah, this match was just weird. Basically, there's a whip into the match, charges in, gets the back elbow, does Ziggler, and he gets on the middle turnbuckle. He leapfrogs over Henry. And the spot looks like it was supposed to be the name dropper to get a near fall out of it. Well, it didn't work, and there was a collision, and Dolph was not the same pretty much after that spot. So, yeah. They get back into it, finally, and Dolph nails a standing dropkick, hits a second one, drops him, and makes a cover. 2 off of that. He gets pressed off like a small child, goes up top for the fine body press, gets caught, presumably for the World's Strongest Slam, and, of course, that gets changed into an over-the-shoulder power slam, gets a 2 off of that. So, the World's Strongest Slam is going for it again. Ziggler lands on his feet, boot to the knee, and nails the zigzag, going for the cover as the time expires. So Rob Van Dam officially wins the Beat the Clock Challenge. And Van Dam comes out, for some reason, to celebrate the fact that he won. And, of course, lo and behold, he's pointing to himself, and he's victimized by the Bullhammer. So here goes Wade Barrett, and the crowd goes insane. Barrett gets on the mic and he says, "I'm afraid I've got some bad news." He basically says that the English have set the time for the entire world, basically alluding to the fact that Van Dam won by setting the time to beat in the Beat the Clock Challenge match. And he said there's no way this Englishman is going to lose to a bloody Yank. Crowd goes nuts. We get the British Bulldogs entrance theme, and that plays out Wade Barrett. Bad news, babyface Barrett. Gotta love it. Gotta love the UK crowd. This next segment's all over the place. Renee Young comes out, and she brings out Adam Rose, and of course, the Exotic Express, the party goers are out. You got a girl dressed as Captain America in the UK. Doesn't make much sense. You got the guy dressed as the Hamburger, of course, like always. You got the Bunny, which may or may not be Zack Ryder, or potentially Justin Gabriel, given the fact that he broke it down hardcore during a dance segment in this. So, Adam Rose comes in the ring and says, "Hello, Renee. Hello, London." And calls out Ethan, apparently is the name of the guy with the cheeseburgers. Like, Ethan's got sesame seeds on his buns. And do I have a nurse? And Adam Rose looks at the girl dressed like Captain America, and that's kind of funny in a lot of ways. What does it mean to be a rosebud, is what Renee asks. And it's like, not to be a lemon, is Adam Rose's response. And you've targeted Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter, and he's like, I don't know about targeting. It's like, I just want Jackie Boy and Zebby to have some fun. They're lemons. They're grumpy pantses. And then, of course, in the middle of this, he just looks at the bunny. He's like, "Dance, bunny, dance." And, of course, the bunny just breaks it down right in the center of the ring, justifying the fact that it might literally be Justin Gabriel under the bunny suit this time around. And not Zack Ryder this week, like Dolph Ziggler alluded to last week, and also in main event. "So you are the problem in my country." This is what Zeb says when Zeb and Swagger come to the ring. It's like, "Adam Rose, I have a bone to pick with you. You see, you fit here better than you do in my country, but you embarrassed me. And I don't take that easily. So get your people out of there, and how about I'll just back Jack off, and you and me can settle it right here tonight in this ring." So we go to have this, and Swagger ends up sucker punching Adam Rose. And then he begs off the entire Rose party. He's like, "Yo, you want to fight?" And, of course, he keeps them at bay, and we see something we see in NXT a lot, and that's Adam Rose's side headlock takedown with the punches, and he takes down Swagger, and Swagger gets knocked off the ring apron, and Swagger, bombs out. And, of course, it's party time all the time, and the crowd is completely in Adam Rose in this, and it is awesome. So, hopefully, this crowd in the UK, this UK tour will generate buzz when Adam Rose returns to the United States for, I would say, Payback. Since we've got Payback in, God, I cannot believe it's the 20th of May already. That's crazy. Yeah, we got Payback in 2 weeks. So yeah, I would say that we're going to have an interesting episode of Raw the next time that we are in the United States. Because obviously, the UK crowd love Adam Rose, and they should, because he is awesome. Yes, I am Sir Owen Disney, and I am gladly a Rosebud. I have the shirt. So, yeah, that's what we had here. And it's setting up our eventual match that we're going to get announced for Payback between Jack Swagger and Adam Rose. Obviously, Bo Dallas is going to be debuting on SmackDown this Friday night. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Sources tell me that Adam Rose and Bo Dallas are not going to have actual matches for a bit. So it'd be interesting to see what we do with that. Maybe spots here and there, but we're not going to have them wrestle for a bit. I don't know about a bit, because Adam Rose is probably going to wrestle Payback if they don't hold it off to Money in the Bank Battleground, but I don't think we can do that. I think we actually run it now. So we get our main event of the evening, and I was so happy when I heard this was the main event, because I love these two in the ring. I tell you right now that you could say what you want about John Cena, and I know a lot of you do, and a lot of you that watch this channel do, and I used to too. I used to be one of you as well. But you know what? John Cena is awesome, and the matches he has with some people is just excellent sometimes. Let's talk about this match against Luke Harper. This match was great. Another thing I definitely recommend from this show. So Cena with the right hand, and ducks the clothesline and the shoulder block. And he goes for the second shoulder block, and of course, you know what? Harper's seen this before, and he plants Cena with a big boot. Gets a 2 off of that. Gator roll, And he turns into a Gator Roll suplex. Looked awesome. Got a 2 off of that. Cena picks the ankle, going for the STF, but he got kicked off, ducks the clothesline, protobomb, sets up for the 5-knuckle shuffle, and he gets caught, turn around, release German suplex, 1-2, and Cena kicks out. So he charges in with a boot in the corner, does Luke Harper, and he misses, and of course he gets tangled in the top rope and goes over the top rope to the floor. So he gets back in the ring, ducks the clothesline, protobomb, 5-knuckle shuffle, goes for the AA, gets countered into the backdrop suplex into a facebuster, gets a 2 off of that, does Harper. And he goes for the powerbomb, Cena backdrops out of it, and he gets caught with a snap Rana by Luke Harper. Standing drop kick, and that sends Cena to the floor. Cena gets up in order to get mowed over yet again by Harper nailing the tope, sending Cena into the barricade. Tosses him in, and charges in, gets the elbow up. Cena on the middle turnbuckle, nails the tornado DDT, gets a 2 off of that. Ducks the clothesline, Cena with an awkward Rana on Harper. And when he gets back up, Harper just takes his head off with a super kick. 2.5 off that one. Puts him on the buckle backwards, and he gets caught. Picks him up in a burning hammer position like a torture rack, and he does the neck breaker out of it for a 2 count. Charges in, and Cena lariats him out of nowhere, out of the corner. Explosion time from John Cena. The AA gets countered into a sunset flip, gets countered into the STF from Cena, and Harper gets to the bottom rope to call for the break. Rowan tries to interfere, and of course he gets super kicked by the Uso, of course, at ringside. Bray nails Sister Abigail on both members of the Usos, one after another, and Cena low bridges Bray charging. He goes over the top rope to the floor, which allows him to become prey for Luke Harper's Michinoku driver, which gets a 2 off of that. Kudos to JBL for actually calling it that. I know JBL gets a lot of flack, but I give him props for calling the Michinoku driver, because most people don't. Especially not Michael Cole. He gets caught with the AA, and Rowan nails Cena for the DQ, and Bray gets in the ring. Bray, of course, does his Exorcist look back, and Cena tries to fight off Rowan. He succeeds. Bray nails Cena with Sister Abigail, leaves him laying. And Cena knocks to the floor, and they beat him up the ramp. Like, they took his shoe and everything. They took his shoe! Come on, this is power. And they toss Cena to Rowan, and Rowan makes him eat the fall-away slam on the ramp. Bray with Sister Abigail on the top of the ramp. The fans are chanting yes for it. Bray gets the crowd to sing along as Harper eerily counts to 10. So that's how we go home on the show. That was just awesome in every single way possible. Yeah, I really enjoyed this ending of the show. Cena, it's your move. So yeah, that was really awesome. And of course, after the show was over, you have the Shield come out, and they had a match again, a very short match. They ended up with Rowan on the losing end. Wade Barrett comes out, and he tells Rowan he's got some bad news, makes him eat the bullhammer. John Cena comes out to the mic. He's like, well, I guess I got some bad news. And he puts over Bray Wyatt, just like he did with Cesaro. And Barrett basically talks about being home again, and he puts over Paige and Adrian Neville. And, of course, Stephanie interrupts and tries to end the show. And they turn off the lights on Barrett. And then Triple H comes out, and he tries to end the show. And Triple H is running his mouth. And then here comes Adam Rose. And we have all sorts of craziness, and Barrett nails Triple H with a bullhammer, leaves him laying, and Adam Rose just dances around the ring, and of course Barrett says he's a rosebud, slaps hands with everyone, and bombs out. So what an awesome edition of Raw. I really enjoyed the show. See, these episodes of Raw make me enjoy being a wrestling recapper. Sometimes it's really fun to do, sometimes it's an extreme hassle. But let's talk about what I appreciate from this, the cold open with the Wyatt family introduction. I like that a lot. It was really well done. I love Cesaro and Sheamus. I cannot wait to see these two at Payback. I'm pretty sure that's what we're leading towards. I would say that I really love what they're doing with Summer Rae and Layla. I think that's going to be an interesting little situation that we've got here. And, Seth Rollins and Batista was really good. I enjoy their chemistry. I think they have great chemistry in the ring. I would say that you definitely need to check out the John Cena and Luke Harper match. So yeah, that was pretty much what I have from the show. Yeah, it was a lot of really fun stuff. It was a fun night, really. It really was. So like I said, nights like this make me happy that it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm still so excited about an episode of Monday Night Raw, so that was pretty cool. So, wrestling fans, I will join you probably Saturday or next Monday, depending on what the schedule holds. Probably next Monday, actually. Next Monday, we're going to have a little NXT and SmackDown. And, of course, we have NXT TakeOver coming up on the 29th. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday is TakeOver. Big 2-hour broadcast. Main event, Tyson Kidd gets a shot against Adrian Neville's NXT Championship, as well as the Ascension putting the NXT Tag Team titles on the line against Kalisto and El Local. Looking forward to that, and whatever else they put on the show should be a really awesome show. And of course, that Sunday is Payback, and looking forward to that because that gets us right into June. So we get into June, it's time to start getting Halloween Horror Nights announcements. I don't have to speculate anymore. I can actually hear some real truths. And then June will go into July. July will go into August. August will go into September. And sooner or later, very soon, I'll actually be home again. So that'll be awesome. So like I said, if you enjoy these videos, leave a like. Don't give very many thumbs up, but I do get a few, and I do appreciate those. Or if you'd like to leave a comment, you're more than welcome to. You can go ahead and like our Facebook fan page here on Pop. It's under Sir Owen Disney Pop. And if you'd like to send me a friend request on Facebook, it's Owen Disney. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and hear my random ramblings about wrestling or Disney or Universal, Halloween Horror Nights, or just personal stuff that I won't get into on this channel, you're more than welcome to tweet me. It's at Sir Owen Disney. Or if you'd like to go and email me, you're more than welcome to email me. You want to talk about things, you want to ask me questions, you want to be a popcaster yourself, send your video, send all your content to siroandisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, I do want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.